What up, guys? This is my thoughts on Raw and Tough Enough coming back. I said I was going to do one. Reach up here, grab my phone, make sure it's off. That way it doesn't go off during the video here. Anyway, Raw last night was just... Why is it sad that the best part of a show is its commentary? Seriously, you could have just played the commentary track over a black screen and it would have been the greatest show ever. Oi, man, just... Raw sucked. Moving on to what I originally set out to do, and that's a video on Tough Enough. I kind of noticed that they, gotta turn the backlight on this thing off, that way there's no glare in the glasses here. I kind of noticed that this time around they're making things a little bit different. I'm going to go ahead and go through like the previous seasons first, starting with Tough Enough 1 that originally aired on June 21st, 2001 with the casting special. I believe it was a 1-hour special that they had on MTV. Your contestants for the season 1 were Bobby Joe Anderson, Chris Nefoir, I think that's his name, Christopher Nowinski, Daryl Cross, Greg Whitmoyer, Jason Dayberry, Josh Lomberger, who is Josh Matthews, Maven Huffman, Nydia Gennard, Paulina Thomas, Shadrack McGee, Taylor Matheny, and Victoria Tabor. This season, to me, is the best one out of all three. I love this season. It's probably one of the most rare and sought after WWE DVDs out there, in that if you go to look this thing up on eBay, it's not cheap. And down here in Virginia, we have something called a Movie Stop, which is kind of like GameStop, only with DVDs. And to find a copy in one of those stores is rare, and it's going to run you about $35, even though it's about maybe 10 years old. So it's a good season. It's rare find. Episode 1 was the casting special. The most notable things out of this series was Taz in season 2, who comes to their house unannounced one morning and forces them to wrestle in the mud and jog before riding in a Hummer, or while he rides in a Hummer. One of the memorable things is somebody in the house has a Goldberg poster hanging up on the wall, and this must have been filmed before they acquired WCW, because Taz rips the poster down off the wall and goes, "Oh, wrong fucking company." So I found that part to be a little bit funny. Triple H in episode 3 lectured the group and basically told them, you know, put up or shut up, don't waste my fucking time if you're not going to be here. And that caused one of the members of the cast, Jason, to decide that he's not willing to be on the road. And he bows out gracefully, as they say. Another couple of more notables was Daryl Cross. Is probably the weakling of the bunch, and he's a big fat guy. He just can't, you know, he can't really move the way they want him to move. He can't even do a front flip bump without even, you know, having to have a boost. He's constantly having problems with his wardrobe, namely a pair of shorts. And if you've moved that series, you know what I mean. It's a very good series. Just look this up if they have it on YouTube. I'm not sure if they do. Your winners for this one, there was actually 4 people to come out of this one to actually join the WWE. Nydia and Maven, of course, which they're both gone for WWE. Christopher Nowinski later joined the Raw brand, and I think it was in 2003. But he got the severe concussion syndrome and retired. And then there's Josh Matthews, who is still going today. In fact, he called Raw last night. So that's another thing. The best part on the show was the announcer getting RKO'd. Explain that to me. But yeah, then we move on to season 2 for Tough Enough. By the time the second season aired, they changed its name to World Wrestling Entertainment, and now it was WWE Tough Enough. And Linda Miles and Jackie Gator were the second season winners. Shad Gaspard was chosen to be one of the 13 contestants on the show, but he failed a drug test, causing him to be replaced. The eventual season 3 winner, John Hennigan, is now made his official debut during the auditions and survived the cut down to 25. His arrogance irritated the judges. It would be another year before he would make the show. And Shelly Martinez, as well as Kid Stevens, otherwise known as Awesome Kong, also made brief appearances during the auditions. Kia Stevens, excuse me. They did not make the cut. Your trainers for this season were Al Snow, Hardcore Holly, Chavo Guerrero, and Ivory. Let's see, you had Jessie Ward, who is a professional wrestler. She was forced to retire after being diagnosed with a disease. Linda Miles is a winner. Kenny Lane would go on to wrestle, or Kenny King, he would go on to wrestle for Ring of Honor. Matt Morgan was in this series. He would go on to wrestle for WWE and TNA. There was a lot of flack on this one because of the fact that they chose two women to win this one. And WWE caught a lot of flack for it. But then again, you know, it was kind of, you know, I don't know. This series, you could take season 2 out of the entire. You know, you could take season 2 and just throw it away, in my opinion, because this season was not good at all. I didn't like it. It was just really, really boring. Then you go into Tough Enough 3, and this was won by John Hennigan and Matt Capitelli. Hennigan wrestled 2 years under the name Johnny Nitro. He's now a member of the Raw brand as John Morrison. Capitelli had a sad story. He was diagnosed with a brain tumor in December 2005. He had to step away, and they were getting ready to call him up too, which is really sad because this guy could really work. Melina tried out for Tough Enough 3, made it to the final 25, but was caught during the competition. During the tryouts, she met John Morrison, and those two started a romantic relationship. Daivari and Daniel Puder are seen on film during audition episode. Both made it to the final 75, but were cut before making it to the training facility. Both men, of course, were going to wrestle for WWE. A thing from season 2 and season 1 also is that season 1 was filmed in Connecticut. You know, you saw them going to Titan Tower and training at their little gym that they got there. And then you saw them training in the Trax facility over there out next to the railroad tracks in Stamford. Season 2, they took it out west, and they were in Trax West. And season 3, I think they did the same thing. Let's see. And the cover story from October. This is funny. October 5th, Pro Wrestling Torture was revealed that the contestant Lisa was removed from the show after it was referred to as a psychotic breakdown. After being left at the house while the other contestants went out to dinner, she began throwing herself against the walls of the house, eventually breaking into the hidden MTV control room and working her way onto the roof. After being talked down by the producer, she was committed to a mental facility to receive psychiatric treatment. Her parents flew in from New Mexico to pick her up, but she physically attacked them, claiming she did not know them. She then escaped custody inside LAX, shutting down a wing of the airport until she was located. She then contacted Tough Enough producers, claiming she was ready to return to the show. She had been producers. Oh Lord, that's funny. And the audience was simply told that wrestling was not the right career for her. She then emerged in Louisville, Kentucky at the OVW Training Center, claiming that Al Snow and producer John Big Gadbrick had sent her for additional training in and out of the ring to learn further. At a series of shows in California in 2002, she managed to talk her way backstage and was even allowed to assist with the pyrotechnics for the wrestlers' entrances at a TV taping. One source claimed she had a face-to-face conversation with Vince McMahon, who was apparently unaware of her status with the Tough Enough program. Soon after, her photograph was circulated to security personnel, and she was barred from any backstage area. Wow. Then we go to the $1 Million Tough Enough. Well, you know, it just... Daniel Puder won. That's all I'm going to say about it. Daniel Puder won, and we got The Miz, and we got Ryan Reeves out of it. That's it. Other notables were Nick Mitchell. He wrestled as Mitch, and it's the Spirit Squad. Mike Mizanin. Justice Smith was later a gladiator on American Gladiators. Ryan Reeve joined in January 2007, and he's now Skip Sheffield. And then Daniel Rodheimer was signed in August 2007. He was released in August 2007. Now we have Tough Enough in 2011, and I find this to be a bit different in that they're taking an Ultimate Fighter aspect of this. They're going to run it in tandem with the USA Raw series. I'm wondering if that means that they're going to do it before Raw, because I mean that 8 to 10 or 8 to 9 block on USA is like prime use for this show, and it has to be an hour long. It can't be really a half an hour show. All they ever do is run NCIS or Law and Order, so they need something to fill that 8 to 9 block. And what better than Tough Enough? What a better lead-in than a reality show? You know, I mean, I'm sorry. And I've also noticed that, you know, you get, with the advent of social networking now, you have Facebook, you have your MySpace, which, who uses MySpace anymore? Twitter, you have Twitter. A lot of pro wrestlers are signing up for this. They went through some reality show website to cast this. I think that this is going to be a really good thing for WWE. I think this is going to be a good thing for Tough Enough in general. I don't think that this is going to be like the other series. I think this is going to be a serious approach to it. Do I think they're going to give away all the secrets of the business? No. Do I think that it's going to be very, you know, entertaining? Yes. I think this is, like I said, you have a lot of pro wrestlers signing up for the show, a lot of indie guys signing up for this show. And, you know, one of the things that you saw maybe with the first 3 series of Tough Enough was that these were regular people, that they had really no training whatsoever, that they were coming into this blind, so to speak, but maybe a general idea of how the business worked. You had people like your Chris Nowinski, who trained with Killer Kowalski prior to Tough Enough, and you hear them tell him in Series 1, hey, you trained with Walter, but you kind of got to throw that all out the window, and you got to, you know, do what we tell you to do. It's like a different training. It's a different aspect. You have that quote-unquote WWE style. I'm curious to see who the quote-unquote trainers are going to be for this series, because it's like, who do you really have? Unless you have people from Florida come up, like your Billy Kidman. If you want to give a call to Al Snow, I'm sure Al Snow would do it. Maybe. It's curious to see what kind of trainers they're going to have in. And no, I don't want to see John Cena as a fucking trainer on this show. He's the last person that should be training or talking to anybody about the way this business works, other than how to flash or smile and do this. Sorry, your shit just don't get over when it comes to training people. But, so yeah, that's my thoughts on the new show. I think, like, you know, they're going to take a totally different aspect of this, and I'm curious to see how it's going to work. I'm curious to see, though, if they're not going to treat this like an NXT and do it before the live crowd. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see them in an arena. I want to see them living in a house like on The Ultimate Fighter. I want to see that, you know, just people getting inside each other's heads. I want to see them actually going and training. I don't want to see them doing stupid obstacle courses. I don't want to see them doing Dis the Diva. I don't want to see them doing American Gladiators jousting. I don't want to see any of that. I want to see, you know, get back to your roots when it comes to Tough Enough. Because I think really Tough Enough 1 was the precursor to The Ultimate Fighter. That's where they got the idea from. That's where UFC got the idea from. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get off here. Raw sucked. Tough Enough might suck. Who knows? But that's my general thoughts on the video, on this video. I just, you know, and now they have it to where you can go to this website, this reality website, and vote for these people who are going to be in this shit. It's just, you know, WWE better use their heads. Really. So, use their heads on this and you'll get ratings. And don't let the creative team touch this shit. Please. We'll see you next time, guys.